You're watching Personal Finance with Coach Kelvin. Let's get into the video.
Hey guys, Coach Kelvin here. Now today I want to talk about automation. Automation is basically a method we can use to make sure that we take out our own personal behaviors out of our investment strategy. So for example, what we can do is every time that we earn our income and this gets put into your bank account from your job, transactions are going to occur which you've scheduled ahead of time in order for that money to be diverted in ways so that you don't even have to think about it. Let's be honest, if our wage comes straight into our bank account and we do with it what we please, we're likely to spend our money first and try and make investments after the fact. Why this behavior can be toxic, however, is because if we tend to take this money and use it as we want and then invest what remains, we're going to be a little more relaxed with our spending habits and potentially waste our money. Okay, you might go out for dinner, for lunch, you might blow money on things you normally wouldn't. With e-commerce lately, it's very easy to access anything from anywhere in the world and have it delivered right to your doorstep. So once that pay lands in your bank account from the job that you work at, what you want to do is have an automatic transaction set up for some of that money to be diverted into your investment account. Now, once you set up your brokerage account, whether it's with the bank you currently use or whether it's with a new broker that perhaps charges lower fees like Self-Wealth, which is the one I use, I'll link down in the description. If you join up, you get 5 free trades. Just a little disclaimer. So once you divert those funds into your brokerage account, you're now not going to touch them because they are no longer attached to your debit card. So what this behavior is going to do is from the get-go limit how much money you have immediate access to. Yes, it's possible to transfer money back from your brokerage account to your bank account. However, this may take a few days. So it's very important to get that out of the way straight away so we don't have instant access to it and therefore we've rationalized that we need it. So let's say you get paid on Tuesday. You might get paid at a particular time. So go into your online banking and you can set up a scheduled payment for that same time frame so that once that money lands, we immediately have money sent into our brokerage account, okay? So let's say you're investing a percentage of your pay every week. If I have $1,000 land, because that's my salary, for example, I'm going to try and aim for 20% invested, let's say. So $200 will immediately be sent into my brokerage account. From there, I then need to pay my rent where I live, okay? So let's say that the rental cost for where I live is $150, okay? As soon as that money lands, $150 will automatically transfer to my landlord or to the person who's on the lease so that I have my rent covered. So immediately, that's 35% of your pay gone. Now, this leaves a 65% left. What we're going to do with that is have our groceries paid, perhaps your car for petrol or any maintenance, and any other expenses that may arise, okay? So we want our automated transfers to be sort of the minimum we wish to use and do, so that way we're not forced to go into any account overdraws or anything like that. Now, let's say if we're quite frugal this week and we don't utilize any of the money we may have set aside for entertainment or for travel, etc. And I'm left with $150 extra at the end of the week. What I may wish to do is build up an emergency fund in a separate bank account. Now, this is a method that is advocated by many financial planners and also bloggers or people who have written books about personal finance, or you could divert that to your investment account. So let's say you had a emergency fund and it's with a separate bank in a high interest savings account, and you had $150 left after all expenses, okay? Send 50% into your emergency account, 50% into your brokerage. So of that 150, you've already had 200 automatically transferred, and woohoo, it's been a good week, so send another 75 there, okay? Now, what this automated behavior does is forces you into making the habit of paying yourself first. Now, this is a concept explained very heavily in Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, but a lot of other people have adopted this method or spoken about it. So the idea of paying yourself first is making sure before all expenses that you are investing in yourself, okay? So if you own your house, that would be paying your mortgage. That would then be putting the rest of that money into another investment. And then after that, your other living expenses, which are more down to necessity, come out. So here's the logic behind this methodology. If I take all my money and I pay myself first and I'm forced to live on what's left, I'm going to spend far less frivolously, and I'm going to have more frugal behavior so that I can maintain or retain most of that money, okay? Because I'm not going to make poor decisions because that money is already out of my reach, or my immediate reach, let's say. Now, if I was having all of my money come into my bank and I could do with it as I pleased, my behavior is going to be more skewed towards those things which give instant gratification and reward me today, but cripple tomorrow's gains. Where automation comes in is you are focused on tomorrow's gains over today's pleasure or today's enjoyment and instant gratification. So when investing, it's important to think about delayed gratification, so that what we're doing is not wanting or not expecting that positive pat on the back right now saying, well done, mate, you just got paid this much, go spoil yourself and grab a bubble tea or something like that, because that is ridiculous. We should be taking a portion of our pay, a percentage every single week, every single fortnight or month, or how often it is that you are paid, and we should be putting that straight to our investments, because ultimately investing in yourself is one of the best things you can do. Yes, you may think enjoying yourself now with 100% of your pay is worthwhile, and I've heard the arguments, you only live once, life's too short, why don't you just enjoy yourself a little more? But here's my logic. If I can retire from full-time necessary work when I'm in my mid-30s to early 40s, I'm going to have a lot of time to enjoy myself. I'm probably going to have a lot of freedom of choice, and I'm going to need to do a lot less budgeting, a lot less stress will be involved in my day-to-day decision making, because I'll have a lot more time freedom and therefore less obligation to be present at a job, possibly in a job I dislike, and constantly just on that hamster wheel of life, running after the same mundane routine day to day forever, okay? So let's completely ignore instant gratification. What we can do is do small things that we enjoy now, but never blow yourself out of proportion, okay? As you are building up your investment portfolio, eventually that's going to start paying you back, okay, for the time you've put into it. So how you can look at this is, if I put my money to work now, that's buying back my free time. When you have enough investments that you could potentially cover 20% of your living expenses through your investment income, that gives you the option to potentially drop a day of work per week. Now, I'm not saying you should do this, but taking a smaller sort of early retirement approach, because you had all your investments automated, that might make you happier. Working 4 days a week and having 3 days off, as opposed to 5 days a week and 2 days off, may actually give you that sort of life-work balance you've been chasing, and therefore make you feel a lot happier, make you feel a lot less trapped in your job, and allow you to constantly pursue something else, which may even pay you in the future. So this automated behavior, which can lead you to covering some of your living expenses because you have invested it into productive assets which create cash flow and pay you back, this removes any negative influenced behavior which is going to stop you following your strategy. Okay, so it's very easy to schedule payments with your online banking system, or even there are apps or investment platforms which allow you to do it from the brokerage account or from the investment platform, where it draws that money straight from your bank instead of you having to schedule it. You can set this up, and when you do, you're going to realize that making that commitment to yourself to invest in yourself was actually not as difficult as you previously thought. So for myself, as soon as I receive my rental money from my investment property, those funds are straight away diverted into my brokerage account. However much money I make through rent, that gets put in my brokerage account. I still pay my mortgage down out of my take-home pay every week, but how I look at that strategy is, I'm simply putting my money into the mortgage, lowering my interest rate, which allows me to earn whatever that interest return is by saving how much I would have paid in fees on that amount. What that's doing is essentially buying me time until the end of the month, when I then receive my rental income, and then I send it straight to my brokerage. So I'm still paying off my home loan, which is a physical asset, and then I'm putting those funds into my shares. So I'm building up two different investment opportunities by doing this, and for the most part it is automated. Obviously some months I may receive less rent, especially if my house goes untenanted or there's issues and I have to pay for any sort of maintenance, but then I will make up that cash fall from other areas in my life. So I always automate my investment habits so that I'm not tempted to spend money on things that cause instant gratification now, because ultimately I have goals that I want to achieve, and this is the best way to do it, to take out any of the internal dialogue which may convince you otherwise to spend your money elsewhere. So guys, I hope this has been a little bit of an insight as to how automation can simplify your investment process. Obviously, when that money lands into your brokerage account, you then need to go and make the purchase or invest it. So guys, that's the video for today. I hope you got some good insight as to why automation can work really well for you, especially if it's going to stop you spending your money, as if 100% of it can go on to whatever you want. And it may cause you to start making some better financial decisions. So if you got any value from this video, please like, share and subscribe. Leave a comment, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.